It was practice.
Yeah, but I mean, did that bring anything back for you a little bit? Just
no, not really.
No?
Just had to get to work and feel the same as the Hawks, dimension-wise. So just kind of transitioned out there.
How do you feel like your guys have done since Saturday when we last talked to you?
They're getting better. Tuesday was a good day. Today was another step forward as well. We're still teaching every single day. Teaching the scheme, teaching the techniques, and things of that nature. So today's emphasis was going, for one period, was going against looks that we don't normally see from our defense. So there was a teaching aspect of that as well. So really excited about getting that jumped off and getting that going and having some good film as we go into fall camp. As we prepare for our opponents that run a little bit different scheme on defense.
Is that kind of the goal going into fall, having seen or at least having the opportunity to teach about just as many different looks and as many different things as you can get?
Yes, absolutely. These guys, we want them to know their rules and responsibilities versus all structured defense and all structured movement patterns of every defense. So, it's a lot of teaching, a lot of coaching, a lot of walking through things and, getting those guys to understand where the ball is going to go and, versus this look and, when this defensive end slants down inside the tackle, now your job transitions to blocking him versus the linebacker. So it's so many different variables that, again, the guys are picking up really well. And again, our defense gives us a multiplicity of looks. So it's awesome to see that, but then we also need some work into some of the stuff we'll see more so when we get into the season as well.
When you think about the teaching aspect for you, is it hard to be patient at all for this staff? You guys want to get results and see results, but having to go through that.
It's not hard for me to be patient. It's just I had to be really patient at UCF. I don't have to be as patient here, but I still nevertheless have to be patient. And it's kind of delayed gratification. With any program that you're trying to turn around. So some days are harder than other ones. Some periods are harder than other ones. Some plays are harder than other ones. But as long as they're getting the learning from every single rep, whether they did it right or whether they did it wrong. This week for us in the offensive line is detail week. We want to really be detailed with our eyes, detailed with our hands, detailed with our footwork, and detailed with our landmarks and all of our blocks. And we want to know every single play. I want the guys to turn on the film and see, okay, if I executed a block, why did I execute that block? What were the things that allowed me to execute that block? If I didn't execute it, what happened? I want them to know. I want them to have the answers. And as coaches, it's my responsibility, along with the other guys that coach in the offensive line, to make sure that we give them the answers.
Coach Frost mentioned Gerald Foster having a good day on Tuesday. He's a fifth-year senior. Has he been kind of a leader in that room for you?
Yeah, he's been a leader. He was good on Tuesday. We missed him on Saturday. He had a class obligation, but on Tuesday he stepped in there and he's his reps, the game reps that he has under his belt really show up in times where you're really, getting some new stuff jumped off the ground, and, he's kind of, reverting back to some of his teaching of other schemes. And so he's awesome. Just teach him a couple new tricks, and and he's been a very productive and steady player for us.
Earlier this spring, Farmer was working some 20 years.
They learned how we worked during the season. We had an opportunity to work against the look score today, and now they know the standard and how our in-season practices go as well.
Do you talk to them about what it means to be just a Nebraska offensive lineman and what that entails, or do you tailor it more to Frost's system?
Yes and no. Right now, my talks to them are more dedicated to talking about the scheme and the techniques of what we're trying to get done. When we start getting into the fall and we start getting into games and things of that nature, then we'll get more sentimental. We'll get, even when we get to the spring game, we'll get more talks about that. But, for right now, well, when I first got here, it was, the initial talks about what it takes to be a Nebraska offensive lineman. Then, now that we're fully entrenched in trying to get better on a day-to-day basis, that's what dominates my talks. And I'm talking about non-directly football-related things, and then I'm talking about the mindset. Then I'm talking about, again, like I said, details. What is the theme of the week for us? So,
are you on track where you thought you'd be at this point in the spring?
Yeah, we are. We're on track. I mean, I had a track, but I actually probably underscored my track. I undershot my track. So, I think we're ahead of where I thought we'd be. To be honest with you, because I can only compare it to, my experience at UCF, and it's night and day in terms of where we are as it relates to where they were the first year. But we were having to deal with probably a little bit more, intangible issues there than here, So I'm excited where these guys are. I'm excited about how much the offense they know. I'm excited about how much we can put on their plate already. And I really am excited about what our, where we're coming, what our, when you look at this deal, it's like, at UCF, you're starting from here, and then you're trying to work from there, where I think our starting point from here was a little bit higher, and now we're working from a little bit higher ground. In addition, the coaches, and Coach Frost bringing all of his coaches, particularly the ones on offense, those guys already know the scheme. We already know the scheme. We know how it works. First year at UCF, it was coaches and players learning to like. Here, it's just the players learning it because the coaches already know it and have run it before.
Are there any young pups that are making a jump?
There's young guys that are doing some good things. Sichterman, Dando is doing some good things. Those guys. Farniak is doing some good things. He's up there working. Matt Farniak is doing a really good job. Will Farniak, the kid, I call him the kid. He's doing a good job, over there. Hunter Miller is stepping up as a center. So, like I said, things are progressing.
With Hymas, I mean, he played as a true freshman. Moving over to the left side, what have you seen in the spring? Does he have kind of these intangible things you look for in kind of that bookend left tackle?
Yeah, he has the athleticism. He's more comfortable over there. So, he's learning it. He's a smart kid, football smart. He's learning, how we teach protection, how we teach the techniques of protection. And he's doing well. He's doing really well over there. So he's a good player, rangy kid, bouncy guy. I mean, he's really athletic. So, Jaime's on the right track. If he stays healthy and he keeps on working hard, he could be a player for a long time.